and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen and this is episode 247. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from. And I live with my husband Dennis and our adorable cat Bella. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about those things with me. And I'm gonna pop on the screen very quickly where you can follow me on social media and the interwebs. I am most active on Instagram as at Voolenvine, and on Ravelry, I'm Voolenvine there as well. And should you have a question about the episode or podcast in general, the best way to get in touch with me and a quick response is through email, and my email address is contact@voolenvineyarns.com. And show notes for this episode and every other episode can be found over at www.yarngasmpodcast.com. And if you, like, what else do I have to remember to say? If you haven't already, please feel free to join the YarnGasm Ravelry group. It's a really fun and inspiring place to chat about this episode, share your whips, your hoes, your FOs, your UFOs, and basically just to chat about this episode, other episodes, ask questions, and just engage in the conversation around the podcast, and to partake in all of the knit-alongs and make-alongs that I host throughout the year. So hop on over there. It's a lot of fun. And just a quick an admin announcement type thing before I get into the nitty-gritty of the episode. I was kind of tiptoeing around the idea of whether or not I wanted to address this on the podcast, but I think I've reached a point where I actually do have to address it. But this pertains to giveaways and gifts that I receive from you lovely viewers. And I just want to say, first of all, I am always super grateful and super touched anytime I receive anything from a viewer, you know, just a gift letting me know how much they enjoy the podcast, or if they are starting a business and they would like to share their makes with my viewers on the podcast. I am always more than happy to be supportive in that respect, and you know, again, just super grateful and thankful to anything I receive from a viewer. And however, it's gotten to a point where it's become a little overwhelming, and living in New York, I'm a little tight on space, and because of that, I have made a really, you know, tough decision. I've decided that I'm going to put a cap on receiving gifts and giveaways for the time being. I may make a couple of exceptions, but for now I'm just going to say kindly ask that you refrain from reaching out to me about giveaways and giveaways, or gifts and giveaways, as much as I do really truly enjoy receiving them, and again, very thankful. Just for now, I'm going to say please don't send me any for now. But thank you so much for understanding. However, because I really truly enjoy supporting other makers in the fiber community, what I've seen other podcasters do is that they've created a marketplace slash enabling thread in their respective Ravelry groups. So I am going to follow suit. I'm going to open a thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry group for any makers that would like to promote or share their makes, and where other people can purchase them and whatnot, you know, just because who does not want to be enabled? So hopefully that seems appealing. So hop on over to the YarnGasm Ravelry group and check that out, and feel free to share away and check that out. So thank you for hearing me out on that. Hopefully, I really did not want to come off as offensive or anything, but anyway, I just feel like I had to mention that. But yes, okay, enough admin stuff. Let's get into the episode, because like I said, I have a lot to share with you this week. As far as events go, I have the Untangled trunk show that's coming up, and I'm super excited for that. That is happening the weekend of the Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool Festival. So it's happening Friday, October 20th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I believe the VIP shopping begins at 4 p.m., but that has, according to the Untangled website, that is sold out. But I will be there. If you're going to be in the area, I would love it if you'd stop by, say hello. It's a super fun event. It's crazy. Every year I feel like it gets bigger and bigger, and I'm very excited to be returning for a second year at Untangled. So definitely stop by if you can. And I will be attending Rhinebeck just that Saturday only. So, you know, if you do see me, please feel free to stop by, say hello. I'm going to do my best to make it to the podcaster meetup. But if you see me wandering around the fairgrounds, please, by all means, come up and say hello. I will hug you. So, very much excited for Rhinebeck. Yay! I'm trying to think what else. I was debating whether or not to share it in Blather, but last Friday I finished work early and headed on over to Do You Knit again. So yeah, I got word that Andrea Mowry was going to be there. She was teaching classes there all weekend and Karen was hosting her, and decided to throw a little wine and cheese party to, you know, welcome her to the shop. And you know me when it comes to wine and cheese. Twist my arm and throw Andrea Mowry into the mix. I'm sold. So yeah, I got on a train. Generally when I go to Do You Knit, it's me and Dennis, we get in a car and we drive up. But because it was earlier in the day that Friday, Dennis was still at work, I decided, you know, I'm gonna get out of the house. I'm gonna go on a train and treat myself to some hanging out at Do You Knit. And I had the best time. It was so much fun. I got to meet Andrea Mowry. I don't know if you saw the photo on my Instagram feed, but she is the nicest person. She's so cool, and it was just so awesome to meet her. I doubt she's watching this, but anyway, Andrea, if you're watching, you are awesome. So very happy I got to meet her. And it was also really fun because I got to hang out at Do You Knit. I was not working. I was not checking people out. I was not, anyway, it was just really fun to just sit, relax, knit, chat with other people that have come to my previous trunk shows there. And yeah, it was just so much fun. So, yeah, I'll probably chat more about it in the Blather section at the end of the episode, but yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning at the top of the episode. So yes, we do have some knit-alongs that are happening, which I will talk about which I will talk about throughout the episode, and I will pepper it in as opposed to bombarding you with all the Cal info at the top of the episode. But anyway, let's get into what I've been making this week. I still have technically a hoe this week. I shared this last week with you, but this is my hand-dyed yarn in Goth Day Cake, my Goth Day Cake colorway. This is the colorway that I dyed for my birthday this year. So I decided to knit a pair of socks out of it. It's on my footsie base. And yeah, this is for my box of socks, a year-long knit-along that I'm currently hosting. It kicked off January 1st and is going all the way until January 1st, 2018. And the idea is to knit at least, to enter to win prizes at least, is to knit at least 12 pairs of socks, store them in a box, and have a fresh box of fresh socks to wear at the beginning of the new year. So yeah, I'm sorely behind. I'm really, I don't know, I can't talk today. Anyway, I'm really behind on my box of socks. I counted this morning. This will be my 6th pair. We are already in the 9th month of 2017. I don't know if I will complete my own Cal, but I will just tell you that there are so many of you who are beyond your 12 pairs of socks for your box of socks, and I salute you. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but my sock knitting mojo this year has kind of waned. I don't know when it did that, but anyway, maybe I want to say like during the 4th month, it just kind of teetered off. But anyway, I'm still knitting socks. That you know, I'm just kind of going through a sock knitting slump at the moment. But here's one finished sock, and I'm happy to report that I have most of the second sock done. So here we go. And I knit on it quite a bit yesterday. So I have my little Sucre miniature cupcake progress keeper on here, and this is how much I knit yesterday. Mainly all on my left hand. So I've been continental knitting. I will talk more about continental knitting later on in the episode, but I have really been improved. My continental knitting has significantly improved since I began teaching myself this summer how to continental knit. So yeah, if you can see, that's quite a bit of progress. I'm still quicker to knit with my right hand, English style, but I'm speeding up with my left hand, which is awesome. So all about that. And that's essentially the goal of me teaching myself knitting continental style, so I can speed my knitting up when it comes to sock knitting. And I don't know. So I can't really differentiate myself between either a process knitter or a product knitter. It depends on the project. When it comes to socks, I'm all about cranking them out. It's one of those like instant gratification knits. So that's where, especially when it's like miles and miles of stockinette, it would just really be awesome if I could just speed up my knitting when it comes to stockinette and purling. But yeah, almost done. I think I could finish these today if I really wanted to. But what else did I want to say about this? Yeah, they're basic vanilla stockinette socks, cuff down, 1x1 twisted ribbing, and fish lips kiss heel, and then I'm just gonna graft the toe with a Kitchener stitch toe. So that's usually my toe grafting of choice. And I'm using high sharp needles in US 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter needles. And these are my go-to sock knitting needles of choice. So love these, love these. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to, well, I obviously do, I would love to try them. LOPPA, I pronounced it correctly. Thank you so much to those of you who corrected me on how to pronounce LOPPA. I watched there's a wonderful viewer sent me a link to how to pronounce the wooden, if you're not familiar, they're called LOPPA driftwood needles. They're all the rage right now. I love using them. I got a whole set. Anyway, the correct way to pronounce them, I believe, is LOPPA. So hopefully that is the correct way to pronounce it. So yay, almost a finished pair of socks. What else did I want to chat about? Yes, my MARLED magic shawl, another knit along that I am co-hosting. Okay, I'll talk about that after. That was my DAMEJAKKA LOPPA. But my MARLED magic, where is that happening? That's not it. I have a lot of project bags, guys. I do not know what happened these past 2 weeks, but I normally don't let myself get this too much. I normally don't let myself get too out of control when it comes to casting on all the things, but for some reason these past 2 weeks, I cast on all the things. That's not it either. Oh my goodness, what? I have no idea. In my wino project bag is my MARLED magic shawl. But anyway, yeah, I let myself go a little crazy with the casting on, and somehow I managed to cast on all the things. It's crazy. So I'm in rare form again. I bring this upon myself, really. It's all my fault that I just can't finish things now because I have like 10 projects on the go. But I have to say, I really haven't put a dent in this very much, but here's where I am with my MARLED magic shawl, a wonderful pattern by Stephen West, and this is part of a knit along that I'm co-hosting with Lara of the Dyer's Notebook podcast and Jinx Yarn. This is our second annual knit along that we've done together, and we decided on the MARLED magic shawl this year. And yeah, she's finished hers. She's all done. It's kind of the flip of what it was last year. I feel like last year was the exploration station that we knit together. And I finished that way before she finished hers, and this year she finished me way before I'm gonna be done with this. So hers is beautiful. Go check it out. She posted it on her Instagram feed. It's absolutely beautiful. So but yeah, here's where I am. I've created a project page. I won't bore you to death with the yarns that I'm using because it's quite a lot, but it's Movalicious. It's Move-tastic, and I love it. I'm really enjoying it, knitting on it when I do get a chance to work on it. But yeah, I'm still on the first section of Clue 1. And many of you are already done with yours as well. I've been popping into the MARLED Magic knit along thread in my group, in my Ravelry group. So yay, go you guys. I am still trying to finish my Rhinebeck sweater. So I'll talk about that next. But yeah, it's a knit along that we are hosting from September 1st all the way through November 1st. So it's a 2-month knit along. I still have plenty of time to finish. So yeah, this is where I am with that. And yes, I'm using LOPPA driftwood needles in the US size 8, 5mm size. And I, again, love these needles so much. I really enjoy working with these. So, and the cable, I feel like I don't really talk about the cable. It's not a floppy cable at all. I really like this cable a lot. It's not as floppy as the high sharp circulars, and now my nose is going to be itching like crazy because there's mohair in here. Anyway, I apologize. But it's not as stiff as Chiaogu needles, the red lace ones. Those I feel like are quite stiff, and I have a love-hate relationship with those cables, but this cable I really like. Because it holds your needles, it doesn't kink, it doesn't, I don't know, like I haven't really experienced any kinking. The joins are amazing, they're just super smooth, and I don't have any problem with the needles coming untwisted. It comes with a key and everything, so highly recommend these, definitely worth the investment. So yay, Marled Magic, making slow but steady progress on that. So yes, that is where I am with that. Next up, in one of the many project bags I pulled out, let me see if this goes back in there, I will talk about my DAMEJAKKA LOPPA cardigan, which I am knitting. Hopefully this will be my Rhinebeck sweater. I don't want to make any promises because I still have a ways to go, and I forgot which podcast I was watching, but 4 weeks until Rhinebeck. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I really don't know if it's gonna happen, but my DAMEJAKKA LOPPA, or I believe it's a DAMEJAKKA, I don't know, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, but here's where I am on that. So slow but steady progress on the body. I'm decreasing for the waist shaping, and this is a pattern by Pinneguri or Anne Meyer on Ravelry, and it's such a lovely pattern. I cannot recommend this more to you guys. It looks super complicated, but it's been such a joy to knit, and I think even if you're new to color work, it's still a really simple knit, because all it is, like when you're working color work, you're only handling 2 colorways at the same time per row, and then when you get to the body, which is the majority of the sweater, you're knitting in the round, like, you know, it's like 3 rows of one colorway and then 1 row of alternating between the main color and the contrasting color on here, and just super simple. Again, if I did not cast on a million things in the past couple of weeks, I would probably be way ahead of where I am right now. So, and again, using LOPPA, yeah, okay, I'm obsessed, clearly obsessed, because I'm using LOPPA needles again. US 2.53 millimeter circulars on these, and these are the fixed, and I love them. It goes so well with the Jameson Spindrift, which is the yarn that I'm using, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And yes, there will be steeking, and if you're curious, yes, I will tape the steeking process, because this will be my very first time steeking anything. And I'm very excited to dive down that rabbit hole, because maybe after I'm done steeking this one, I'll want to steek all the things. Who knows? Clearly, I want to do all the color work, as you'll see in the next project that I talk about, but hopefully this will be done before Rhinebeck. I tried it on. I did take it off the needles, and it fits like a glove. A little snug, but I'm assuming once I steek it and add the button band, it'll add a little more ease to the bust area. So anyway, yeah, loving where this is going. I'm debating whether or not I want black buttons or mauve buttons. We shall see. Anyway, I'm thinking black, just so it's not too crazy. But anyway, there's where I am with that. And I totally forgot to mention this at the top of the episode, but I'm recording again from the dye dungeon in a hopefully more permanent space. I'm sitting on my new chaise longue, which I mispronounced the last episode. I was calling it a chaise lounge because apparently I went through my whole life thinking it was a chaise lounge. I stand corrected. It is a chaise longue or chaise longue. I don't know. One day I will know how to say all the things perfectly. I can dream, right? Anyway, I can try. I can at least try. So chaise longue. This is my new favorite thing in the whole wide world. It's what I've been wanting for a really long time. I remember when Dennis and I got married, I put it on the registry. I put a chaise longue on the registry. Nobody bought me a chaise longue. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta take matters into your own hands and buy your own chaise longue. So that's what I did. Anyway, very, very excited to have one. really cozied up the dye dungeon a lot, and yeah, it's coming together. And for those of you that are wondering, I will be giving a tour eventually, a video tour of the dye dungeon. I'm just putting together a few more things, dressing it up a little bit more, but yeah, I want to say that it's about 85% complete. Just gotta, I need something for the back wall here. I'm thinking like a pom-pom something mural, or I don't know, just something to kind of add a little personality. But hopefully the lighting is better this week, the audio. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with the way things are progressing with the dye dungeon. But anyway, yeah, again, hopefully this will be the permanent setup now going forward with the podcast. And I hope you enjoy it. So anyway, moving along, I have tea. And since we're on show and tell, I have my new David's tea mug. You guys, how cute is it? I have to say, I think David's tea is onto us knitters. You know, they caught wind that knitters do in fact enjoy tea. So yeah, they came out with a colored, and you can see lipstick there, but anyway, they caught wind that knitters apparently love tea, and so they created a color changing mug with sheep on it. I could not resist. It's like, again, twist my arm. Put a sheep on it and I am sold. Yeah, anyway, I'm drinking chocolate, what is it, chocolate rocket from David's tea. It's really good. I kind of took a gamble on it. I had some tea points or whatever, so I decided, all right, I'm gonna give this a try, and I really, really do enjoy it. I highly recommend it if you like chocolate and caffeine. Clearly I do. So this is another recent cast on, many things that I've cast on in the past weeks, that I really could not resist casting on, because it was just, I saw the yarn together and I was like, this would be so cool. I cast on some SELBU mittens by the lovely and amazing and talented Ellie of the Skeindeer Knits podcast. She's also a wonderful designer and awesome colorwork knitter. Check out her podcast. She's amazing and again, super talented. And she designed, she has a SELBU mitten club that's currently underway. So if you haven't joined yet, I highly recommend you do. I think she has 2 patterns out. She has the Mebonden and this is the SELBU mitten pattern. She has another one coming out at the beginning of October, but I cast these on using my hand-dyed yarn. And these were kind of, it was kind of inspired by the Sunset Highway pullover, which is also a colorwork, it's a sweater, but it has like a colorwork yoke to it. It's really cool. But it, you know, the designer recommends using hand-dyed or speckled yarn because it creates like a really cool effect. And while I was not about to cast on another sweater, because clearly I'm not gonna do that, even though I really want to, I really wanted to kind of experiment with speckled yarn in colorwork, and I thought this would be the perfect project to do that. So I caked up a skein of my new Halloween colorway, Spinderella, which is this white speckled yarn with some pops of purple, neon orange, some blacks, and then my last year's Halloween color, which was Mooncusser. It's this, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got like this, it's more like a brown purple with orange speckles in it. It's really cool. I love these colorways. I love, love, love the way these colorways are playing together. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to see these colorways like play together in this type of pattern. It is just so cool, or just has a really cool effect. And I have to say, these knit up super quick. Again, if I had more time on my hands and I didn't cast on all the things, I would probably be onto the second mitt by now, but I'm almost done knitting the first mitten, and I have, here's what the back looks like. You can see, like, because it's speckled yarn, it gets a little muddled when it comes to finer stitches or finer patterns, especially over here. I mean, not too badly, but in the front over here, you can see it gets a little muddled, but you can really see from far away how defined the snowflakes are and everything. So it's kind of like pointillism. Up close, it's a hot mess, but from far away, it's a work of art. I don't know. So, but yeah, here's, I guess I will try the mitten on. And I have to be careful with these because I have my wedding rings, my wedding bands on, and on the inside, the ring kind of catches on the floats a little bit, so I have to be a little careful, but here's what they look like. And these are so cozy. And this, the yarn that I'm using, again, as I mentioned, is my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns, on the Smitten DK base, which is DK merino nylon cashmere blend. And you guys, so soft and so warm. I was a little apprehensive because using, you know, like superwash for color work, it just seems kind of like against the grain a little bit, you know, because when you think of color work, you think, ooh, rustic yarn, Jameson Spindrift, or, you know, either blacker yarns, or, yeah, just something rustic and woolly. And I'm really surprised that these knit up as, I don't know, I'm so excited about them. So not to toot my own horn, but anyway, I was knitting magic loop on these just for the main part of the mitten. And then once it started getting to the decreases, can we talk about how cool this section is right here? Yeah, I love that so much. And I have a stitch marker from Shamika of Mika Makes. So yeah, I love it. And let me see, what else? Oh yeah, so once I got to the decreases, I switched to DPNs. And these are US, what the pattern calls for, US size 4, 3.5 millimeter needles. So yeah, I find that a little bit more easier to manage when it comes to decreasing the fingers. So yay, here's where I am with that. Really love these. And again, these are super quick to knit up. And again, my continental knitting has been coming in handy while working on this. So yeah, there's where I am with that. And I don't know, I know the pattern calls for 2 rows of stockinette because she wants ribbing, because she wants you know, to get to the color work as soon as possible. I added an extra row. I don't know, I just felt like I could use an extra row of that. I don't know, but yeah, that's the only modification that I did, and I just have to do the thumb, and I'm ready to cast on the next mitten. So yay, Ellie, congrats again on publishing this pattern. It is amazing, and I highly recommend it. So I cannot wait to see what other mittens she has in store for the club, so check it out. I know what I forgot to talk about. So when it comes to my Marled magic, I know I've been talking about how I've been teaching myself to knit continental and Norwegian purling since the beginning of summer, I want to say. I find the seed stitch in my Marled magic to be awesome practice for knitting continental and Norwegian purling, because again, it's like you're knitting 1 stitch, purling 1 stitch, knitting 1 stitch, purling 1 stitch. And I find that Norwegian purling combined with the with continental knitting is brilliant, because when it comes to Norwegian purling, you're holding the yarn, as opposed to holding the yarn in front of your work when you purl in general, you're holding the yarn in back of your work. So it makes the transition from knit to purl practically seamless. I will say Norwegian purling is a little bit of a dance with your fingers. I was watching the Very Pink Knits podcast. She has a great tutorial on how to purl Norwegian style, and she calls it kind of like, it's like a dance with your fingers when you're doing the Norwegian purl. But once you get the swing of it, once you build that muscle memory, it just becomes second nature. And I'm finding the more I do it, the more second nature it's becoming. So I highly recommend it if you're curious and you're learning and you're struggling with the purl stitch. Definitely check it out. I'm finding that I would not use it for every situation. You know, if I'm doing like 1 pure row of purl, I might just revert to the normal way that I purl English style, because I find that I'm very quick when it comes to purling English style. I flick, so I'm a flicker. Learning all the different techniques when it comes to knitting, either combination knitting or Norwegian purling or continental or English knitting style, you find when you're doing certain knitting techniques, you can just kind of default to different, you can pick from your tool sets or your skill sets when it comes to that, and apply it to a project that you're working on to make it that much more enjoyable, if that makes any sense. So again, while I would probably just use English purling for a whole row of purl stitches, when it comes to knitting either seed stitch or rib stitch, I would revert to Norwegian purling and continental knitting. So I find that helps speed up my process a great deal. So just something to think about. I will do my best to create kind of a tutorial or demo of how I do all these things, how I Norwegian purl and continental knit, if that helps, because I did receive a couple of requests. So hopefully that will be coming down the pike. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say. And some other people had asked, what's the, you know, why is continental knitting or knitting with your left hand better than knitting English style with your right hand? Honestly, there really is no, as I always say, there really is no right or wrong way to knit, as you have to find a method or technique that works best for you. But I find that when you knit with your left hand, there's a lot less movement involved. So you don't risk either straining your wrist or getting carpal tunnel or repetitive stress injury. I find that knitting with my left hand, because there's less movement involved, it definitely saves the stress that, you know, I feel when I knit with my right hand. So, you know, again, something to think about, you know, if you you're curious about that. So I hope that helps and explains things. But yes, itchy nose, itchy nose. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. But yeah, okay, I think that is it for works in progress. No FOs. No sewing this week again. I apologize. My sewing, there just aren't enough hours in the day, or there haven't been enough hours in the day. And to be quite honest, I don't know if I will have enough hours in the day in the next coming weeks, because I will be deep along into Indie Untangled prep. So I'm gonna move along to shop update, because I will be having a shop update tomorrow, Friday, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is, let me see, Friday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me go get what colorways I will have in store tomorrow. I will be having a shop update tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I just mentioned. And I just want to say the newsletter, I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon as to sending out a weekly newsletter, but hopefully this week I will be back on the ball with that. I apologize, because I did receive some emails from people saying, you know, hey, they signed up for the newsletter and they wanted to make sure that they were getting it, and because they haven't seen any. But anyway, it's my fault. I have not been sending out a newsletter the past couple of weeks, but hopefully I will be back on the ball this week and following weeks. So keep a lookout for that. If you have Gmail, it generally, the newsletter pops up in the promotions folder of your Gmail account, I want to say, or at least that's where it pops up on mine. I subscribe to my own newsletter, go figure, just to make sure that, you know, because I am curious. I just want to see how the newsletter is being sent out and how it, you know, how you are viewing it, for those of you who subscribe to it. So anyway, that's where I've noticed that it's where it's been popping up. So in case you were wondering. But yes, colorways, it's a little bit of a smaller update this week, because I had to get out the third and final installment of the Twin Steaks Yarn Club. So yay, that has come to an end. Everyone who subscribed, thank you so much again for subscribing. I hope you loved all the colorways that you received, and I can't wait to see what you make with them. I did create a spoilers thread in the Voolenvine Yarns Ravelry group, so if you haven't joined already and want to share your whips and your FOs for projects that you knit with my yarn, I always really enjoy seeing what you make with it. It's probably one of the most rewarding things about being a hand dyer. So definitely hop on over there, and yeah, pop on over to the spoilers group and share you know, your skeins and your whips that you've been making out of the club yarn. So yeah, hoping to announce another club very soon. But yeah, a little bit of a smaller update tomorrow, just because I had to dye a whole bulk of club yarn. Anyway, I'm rambling. So tomorrow there will be some more Lady of the Lake. Let's see. So here is on Blitzed, my Gold Stellina Superwash Merino nylon base, and then here it is on Volca, my Superwash Merino nylon cashmere base fingering. And it will also be available on, all of these colorways you see will be on my Nouveau base, my Merino singles base, and Footsie, my Superwash BFL Blue Face Luster nylon sock base. So Lady of the Lake will be in stock. I will have some more Coven. This has been super popular these past few weeks, I guess because Halloween. I will be dyeing up some more Halloween colorways this week as well. Here we have Coven. And this is it on my Nouveau base, my Superwash Merino singles fingering base. And then I will have some Plume. Here we go. So this is a newer colorway. It's kind of getting blown out, but it's kind of just like a fuchsia mauvey, yeah, just semi-solid. This is one of my new favorite colorways. I really like it. It's kind of like, it's very juicy almost, I want to say. So there's that. And by popular demand, I had some fun in the dye pot last week. I dyed up a free swim colorway, which if you're not familiar, when I call a colorway a free swim, that means I just had a little fun in the dye pot. It got such a really good response. People were wanting me to dye it again. So Dragon Tears is now a shop regular. So I hope you were pleased with that. But I remembered that I honestly did not write down the colorway formula, but I remembered it. I tweaked it a little bit, but Dragon Tears will be a new shop regular. So here it is on Volca, and here it is on Blitzed. And it's just a really, I love it. It's a really fun colorway. It's got greens, it's got teals, pops of magenta in there, browns, lots of layers of colors in there. So really happy to announce that this is going to be a regular in the shop. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be dyeing up some more today and tomorrow, so there should be some more colors. I'm hoping to get some more Spinderella, some more Mooncusser in there for you. Hopefully I'll be dyeing up those today. And if I have time, I will dye up some more Feyre and Resand, because I've been getting requests for those as well. So yeah, that is what's in store for tomorrow's update. I hope you can make it. That said, I'm gonna move along to Blather, where I chat about what's been going on in my life, should you care to stick around. So yeah. So as for Blather, yeah, as I mentioned, last Friday I went to Do Knit, got to meet Andrea Mowry, got to hang out, chill, knit, chat with people. It was a lot of fun. And then that weekend on Saturday, Dennis had his company picnic. So that was, I'm not gonna say it was fun, but you know, we got to play mini golf. Dennis beat me at mini golf, but I did get quite a few holes in one, which surprised me a great deal, because I do not have a sporty bone in my body. So I just went through the whole game saying like, I hate this game, I hate this game. And then as soon as I got the holes in one, I was like, I love this game. So that was fun. They had some, it was a barbecue cookout. And then on Sunday, it was my little cousin's 9th birthday. I'm gonna say cousin, but she calls me Aunt Kristen and Uncle Dennis. So anyway, I'm gonna say she's still my cousin. Not technically my niece, but anyway, I'm gonna call her my cousin. She turned 9, which is crazy how fast time flies. But anyway, we went to her birthday party. It was at a restaurant, so we got to hang out, chat, catch up with that side of my family, so that was really nice. And that was our weekend. And I spent the time obviously casting on some more stuff. And I am working on a new shawl design, which I'm keeping on the DL. I'm actually working on 2 shawl designs right now. So I'm trying to get one of them finished, which should have been finished a while ago, but for some reason didn't get finished. Anyway, that is, I hope to be chatting about that with you next week, but I'm very excited about it, and I think you're gonna be excited about it too. We shall see. But anyway, there's that. And then what else? Yeah, this week has just been crazy. Just playing a lot of catch up, getting the dye dungeon in order. And yeah, I'm just this weekend, I think we are going to lay low. It's gonna be one of those weekends where we just don't have anything going on, and we are totally okay with that, because I could certainly use a weekend with nothing going on. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I just feel like summer, I probably mention this every episode, but I feel like summer, every single weekend, there is something going on. And while they are fun events and fun activities, it can get a little draining sometimes. So I always look forward to a weekend when I can just be a homebody, curl up with knitting, not have any obligations or anywhere to be. I just enjoy staying at home. So yeah, otherwise, October is coming up. I want to say, yeah, October has to be my favorite, I think my new favorite month, because Halloween happens, my favorite holiday. No Halloween plans as of yet, although I really do want to make my own costume this year again. Last year was kind of a dud. I went as a vampire, but the year before I went as I don't know, I actually podcasted in my costume. I was like a Victorian goth I have no idea what I was. I just got up in like the full Victorian Edwardian get up and everything, and it was awesome. So hopefully I can do something along those lines again soon for this year. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Normally we get invited, you know, our neighbors do something, or one of Dennis's friends has a party. So yeah, we'll have an excuse to go somewhere, and I'll have an excuse to dress up. Dennis is a little more difficult to get to dress up. He's not really into it, but with a little arm twisting, usually at the last minute, he'll want to dress up as something. So that's when the scrambling happens, and I have to go to Walmart or somewhere and get some makeup and whip something up really quick for him. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And I don't even know if I want to mention it. I don't even know if I want to do it. I really do want to do it because it's a lot of fun, but I just don't know if I'm going to be a glutton for punishment about it. But Vlogtober. I might do Vlogtober. I did Vlogmas last year, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it again this year, but Vlogtober seems like a really fun month to do some vlogging on a daily basis, because there's going to be a lot going on. Number one, I'm going to be prepping for Indie Untangled. Number two, Rhinebeck. That would be super fun to vlog. And then Halloween. Yeah, it's an eventful month. I feel like it's going to be an eventful month. Lara from Jinx Yarns is coming to visit. So yeah, all the more reason. I don't know. I think I can make it happen. I think I can find a way to make Vlogtober happen. I know Katie from Inside Number 23 did Vlogtober last year, and that was a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah. So otherwise, I'm trying to think. We'll see. I think I can make Vlogtober happen. Let me know. Are you guys down for Vlogtober? I don't know. So otherwise, yes. What am I reading? I just finished book 5 of, or listening to book 5 of the Throne of Glass series. I think it was Empire. It's called Empire of Storms. I am gonna say I was not totally in love with the book. It was exciting. It was eventful. It was an adventure. The last book broke me. I was just like, are you kidding? The storyline is not done yet. It definitely has a cliffhanger, and I had all the feels at the end. I was just like, no. So it's one of those books. Like, I felt like it was kind of like a slog leading up to, like, the first 2 books were just okay. I wasn't totally sold on the book, but like once the 3rd and 4th book came around, I was a little more invested. And then 5th book, oh my gosh, yeah. It was, all right. When the 6th book, when the 6th book comes out, I'm gonna be reading it, because yeah, I'm hooked. She does have a novella out. The whole series, the Throne of Glass series, is by Sarah J. Maas, who also wrote A Court of Thorns and Roses, my favorite book series of all time. Yeah, anyway, it's amazing. If you haven't read it, check it out. But yeah, Sarah J. Maas, she came out with a novella for Throne of Glass. So there's one that happens where it's like a side, I'm gonna say like a B-side to the main events in Empire of Storms, where it's like one of the characters, like what they were doing during that time that the other characters were off doing that thing. So I don't know if I'm too invested in that character to care about what he was up to. So I don't know. If I'm desperate to find something else to read, I might read it. I'm probably gonna read it at some point, but I feel like I need a little break. But yeah, I would say 3.5 stars out of 5 I would give the Throne of Glass series. The last book I would give it 5 out of 5 stars, because that just like was like, what, are you kidding me? So yeah, definitely check it out. But again, as I say every episode, it's not a series for young adults. Even young adults, I'm not sure. It might be bordering, because there are some adult themes and scenes in there that you might not want your young ones to read yet. So definitely give it a gander before you decide to let them read through it. So just, you know, full disclosure. What else did I want to say about that? And if you are a fan of sci-fi, fantasy novels, young adult books and whatnot, you might want to check out, I somehow stumbled upon this YouTube channel called Poland Banana Books. She posts book talks. Like, she will read a book, take a whole bunch of notes on it, and then just dish like her thoughts on the book. And when I first started watching her videos, I thought she was a little over the top, but honestly, I find her super entertaining and hilarious. So she does book talks for all the A Court of Thorns and Roses, or ACOTAR books, and then also for Throne of Glass. And it's a really fun podcast if you want to discover new, you know, like fantasy, sci-fi, young adult fiction, which I am slowly getting really into. So I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, definitely check her out if you would like a good laugh. She's definitely a burst of energy, so might not be everyone's cup of tea, but she's a lot of fun. So check that out. So because I'm done with that series, I kind of took a break from listening to audiobooks and decided to catch up with some podcasts, because I will say that it did cut into my podcast watching listening time. I did catch up. Actually yesterday I binge listened to the Curious Handmaid podcast, hosted by the lovely and amazing Helen Stewart, who is having a country house retreat right now, which I'm super jealous. I really want to be there right now because it looks like so much fun. And yeah, so that was really fun to catch up with her. She did a whole really interesting series on, she calls it Camp Curious, where every year she does like a whole series on a specific topic. And this year it was her design process. So I love, you know, they're very short episodes, but she touches on her design process in each episode. Like she covers photography, patterns, you know, how she gets inspired to design a pattern or shawl. Just really, really insightful, very entertaining, and it's, you know, I love catching up with Helen. She's got a lovely voice and just very relaxing while I work, so definitely check that out. And I did, sorry, my nose is just going absolutely crazy. I apologize again. But I was also catching up with the Fruity Knitting podcast. It's been around for a while, but it's such a well-produced podcast. It's almost like one of those, if you were to tune into, I'm blanking on their names, I apologize, but they do such a good job of producing this podcast. There are different segments. They interview a lot of, you know, well-known makers and people in the fiber industry. And yeah, so definitely check that out as well. I had the opportunity to meet one of the hosts at, I didn't actually get to chat with her, but when I was at EYF, she attended the Kaylee that I attended, where I first met Ellie from Skeindeer Knits. And anyway, really lovely. She actually had her camera there and was filming, and yeah, so anyway, definitely check out the Fruity Knitting podcast. That was really fun. And I catched up with Selma of Little Big Knits. Selma, she sometimes co-hosts the Two Tangled Skeins podcast, who's also a friend of mine. So I, you know, always enjoy. I'm so glad she started podcasting. She, again, as I mentioned, she co-hosts the Two Tangled Skein podcasts from time to time, but I'm so glad she branched off on her own, because I actually got to meet Selma in person, and I don't know, she just has such a lovely personality. And yeah, and I love the way she's so on point when she pronounces foreign words. Like that I envy of her, because she's just always on point, and she has a lovely accent when she pronounces things correctly. So anyway, check out the Little Big Knits podcast, hosted by Selma as well. So yeah, some new podcasts for you to check out. And yes, otherwise, I think that is it for this week. So I've got some yarn to skein up, some to label, and then tie up to dye. So I've got a full day ahead of me. I hope you are having a wonderful week. Happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.